Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. I'd like to say a few words about atheism. When you look at the world today, you see that man is being pulled in many different directions. He's in a search for something greater than himself that he can attach himself to in order to uplift himself and maybe uplift his surroundings. He might see a lot of things that go on that he's not too happy about. But being pulled in so many directions, he has no way to know which way is the right way. And because the Christian God and the Christian concept of God is so prevalent in society and so easily debunkable, the Trinity and all of that, and it has no basis in logic and rationality, people always attack that Christian God that doesn't exist in reality, but exists as a theory, as a belief, and thus negate the concept of God totally. And so there's so many things that people can learn from Eastern religions, or even say the Native American concept of God and love of nature as a manifestation of that love of the Creator. And those things are lost on people because the Christian God is so prevalent, and the logic and rationality is not there with the Christian God. So when someone attacks that Christian God, they believe that they've killed God as such. This is kind of the concept of Nietzsche and a lot of those Marx and these other philosophers, where they thought that they killed God, but they had just basically killed the Christian concept of God. Islam's concept of God is far more transcendental than any other concept that exists. We go with the 99 attributes first of all, and that shows how God interacts with His creation, how the Creator interacts with His creation, and it helps us have this transcendental view of God, because no image should pop into your head when you think of God. It shouldn't be a white man that pops into your head, or a black man that pops into your head, or any type of man, or any type of being, or any type of natural existence. None of these things are the Creator. The Creator is transcendental. I would say one of the distinctions you would create is that creation is transient, it's finite, and it is created. The Creator is not created, so therefore not subject to time and space. It's not transient, it's eternal, and it's infinite. So we apply our logic and rationality to try to debunk the Creator. Some people might say, oh, well, could God create a rock that He could not pick up? Trying to pit him against his his two characteristics, or his two attributes of omniscience and omnipotence. And omnipresence. So the message to atheists, I would say, would be to define or come up with some sort of structure or some sort of parameter whereby you would believe in some sort of transcendental concept of God, and give us, the believers, the theists, the monotheists specifically, a basis for them proving that God exists to you. Because when you start to look at that and scrutinize that complete disbelief, and I'm not talking about agnosticism, I'm talking about atheism. If you take a look at that complete lack of belief and negation of belief and saying that the Creator could not exist and it's not possible and all that, then you have to explain why you believe that and why you would even negate the concept of God. What would it take for you to believe in that concept of God? And a lot of answers that you'll get, maybe God will come to me and tell me He is here. He gives me a book and tells me what to do. But then your experience can't be manifested in everybody else's life, and not everybody's going to believe you, especially if you're of unrighteous conduct, which in some cases atheists are. So because they don't have a moral code, they don't have any specific specific set standard of morality that they live their life by, and that's why because they're not getting that from anywhere except themselves and their experiences and the culture that they live in. So because of that, it would be very important for an atheist to describe what they would take, and you can find that there would be a problem. Now, when you come to agnosticism, then you can slowly you can have a discussion about maybe all the different natural phenomena that exist, how the golden mean of the earth is in Mecca and Kaaba, or all these different little evidences that we have for the existence of God, or like in the Quran where it talks about the Big Bang in Surah Al-Anbiya, or it talks where it says the unbelievers discovered the big, that the earth and the heavens were one rolled up masses and they were spread asunder, or the idea that eventually this is a closed universe and the cycle of Big Bang and Big Crunch are going to repeat endlessly and ultimately entropy would always negate the idea of an infinite universe or an eternal universe as such, and that there had to be a first cause that would release all that matter and spread it, as far and wide as it is, and then the multiplicity of the creation that occur, and how those creations never had to evolve all those different things that make them work, whether it's inanimate objects or whether it's humans or whether it's other forms of life that maybe we don't even come across. It's not that they had to, giraffes didn't have to reach up for the trees until they could finally get to the trees and then go through a whole process of dying. So the concept of evolution that they've kind of replaced God with, these naturalists and these materialists and these material reductionists that, are trying to propagate the idea of evolution as like some sort of unconscious God, unconscious force that really has no power to, harm you or punish you for anything that you do wrong, and no power to reward you or benefit you for anything that you do right. So eventually, I think that the entire world is clamoring for some sort of ideology that will bring them together, that will create a brotherhood, facilitate a brotherhood on a global scale, where everybody's ideas, everybody's culture is respected, and at the same time people behave according to an enlightened moral standard that no law has been able to force them to do, and only complete submission to the will of God and the principles of God is going to be able to achieve that on a higher standard, where you don't need cops to enforce laws. When people who commit wrongs feel so guilty because of their own conscience that they'll come to get punishment, like they did in the times of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of God be upon him. So with that, I'd like to close, and may God bring all of humanity into the fold of Islam and bring peace and unity amongst all peoples. Thank you.